Hi everyone, thank you for watching my first birthday YouTube video. I was really happy to see that I got so many more views than I expected, and I have subscribers already, so thank you so much. And today I would like to talk about how I decided the keyword for me is resiliency. I think the first step I took after having the adversity of my son's cancer was presenting about this experience. And I made a presentation called Adversity to Advocacy, the power of sharing your stories. So I decided to share about that experience for this video today. I made this short presentation talking about the experience of fighting cancer with my son and presented at conferences or different gatherings. I was amazed to see how powerful it was. Many people were inspired or motivated to face their advocacy or challenges. So today I want to share it with you. So the first story, the beginning is of course my adversity, the biggest adversity in my life. That was my first son's cancer. My first son, Tai, had brain tumor surgery on January 11th, 2016. The tumor was examined after the surgery, and the doctor told us that it is a cancer called medulloblastima. And back then, in 2016, we were told that for him, the 5-year survival rate percentage is about 50%. Of course, the doctor didn't want to be specific, or they didn't communicate directly, but we figured out that he will have 50% possibility for living and surviving 5 years. So this is the picture of Tyler right after the surgery. And after the surgery, what happened was we didn't expect it. We signed the consent form that he might have this and that side effect and handicap, but we didn't think that he would really have handicap. So what happened to him was he couldn't speak at all, and he couldn't move his body at all. He was able to sit up, but he couldn't walk. He couldn't talk. And in the end, he was able to gain his speech ability gradually. So he was able to very slowly, I can speak English at this speed. That kind of speech. But first year, he couldn't speak at all. He couldn't move his hands either, so I had to always ask him questions and ask him to nod if it's yes and say no if it's a no. So that was the first communication we did. And later he was able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, moving his fingers. So I gave him options and he chose. Then later he was able to hold a pen, so he started writing letters, but it was really hard at first. He was very frustrated that the people couldn't understand what he wrote. I understood, but when he went to school and teachers didn't understand or the students didn't understand, he was frustrated. But as time went on, his writing skill got better, so it was easier for people to read, and also he was able to pronounce some sounds like or ma or ba, just like a normal kind of like a linguistic development, easy sound. So it took a whole 1 year for him to be able to speak. And so during that time when he couldn't really speak and he was on wheelchair and I had to push him all the time, and I didn't have a car. And we lived outside of Seoul. So in order for us to go to the hospital, we needed to get on the bus and get on the subway to get to the hospital, which took about an hour and a half. And so hardest thing for me for these back then was I had 3 major things. First one was communication with doctors. We went to the biggest national hospital National University Hospital in Seoul, And yes, this is the best hospital in Korea, and cancer treatment like my son's could be done there, and that was the best doctors there. But it was really hard for me to deal with very hierarchical, authoritarian doctors, so the communication was just one way. It was hard for me because I got used to American way, like doctors listen to what you want to do and communicate more. But in Korea, we had to wait for 1 hour or hour and a half, and the actual communication time with the doctor was just 1 minute. They ask just one-way communication, and then after 1 minute you leave. And usually what they had to say was not so much of asking questions, but more like orders. So on top of having the anxiety of cancer and stress of medical situation, communication was very hard, and a lot of times I got emotional. And next hard thing was bus drivers, because we need to get on the bus, but not all the Korean buses are low floor bus. So sometimes I have to pick up Thai and then fold the wheelchair and put him on the regular bus, but the regular bus drivers hate it so much. And sometimes they see the wheelchair, but they won't stop for us. They won't wait for us, but just run off, yelling at us, saying, take the next bus. But we don't have so many frequent low floor buses. A lot of times we have to wait for 30 minutes for the next bus. So, well, I fought a lot to convince the driver that I can do that within 2 minutes, to just please wait. But I repeated so many times, and later on, finally, I started borrowing Tyler's dad, my ex-husband's car, so that made it easier. And another hard aspect living in Korea while dealing with cancer and handicap was dealing with elders when we needed to take elevators. No matter how early we arrive, and even if we are the first one to be there, usually elders walk really fast to go into the elevator, and because we are on wheelchair, it takes time for us to move. Many times, so many elders going first, and we had to wait for another ride or next one. So that was frustrating too. So later on, I was like, please, we're on wheelchair, please let us go first. So I was being affirmative, but it was again, after I started driving, I didn't have to deal with it, but I got so much stress from these mainly three group of people. So it was really hard, and it was challenging, and it was an adversity for me. But what influenced me was this book, Option B by Sheryl Sandberg. The book said, when life pulls you under, you can kick against the bottom, break the surface, and breathe again. So this one taught me that yes, the difficulty, adversity happens, but you cannot change the reality. You have to face the reality. And when option A, which is your ideal option, is gone, then you can make the most of option B. So that gave me a lot of encouragement and courage. So I started to accept and make positive changes. So first important part was purpose. I started thinking, okay, so what can we do, and why are we experiencing this? What's the purpose for me and for Thai? And I was thinking, okay, so maybe we're going through this because we have this purpose of contributing to the society by sharing our stories. So I thought, I'm dealing with doctors, bus drivers, and elders. These people are really old people. And my ex-husband told me, like, yeah, I understand you're having a hard time, but unfortunately, it takes forever to change old people. Then I thought about, okay, then maybe I can educate children about handicap or special needs. So there was this storytelling volunteer group at Thai's elementary school. So I volunteered to read special needs acceptance book, which was written in English, but I show the children the pictures and I spoke in Korean so that they can understand what the book is talking about. And also I asked if I can bring my son with me so that he can share his story from his perspective. So here's the picture of him actually talking about himself. And this is after he got cured after the first cycle. So he was able to stand and he had his hair too. So we were enjoying this volunteer work. And what I did was I shared what I was doing on social media, Facebook. I made it public. At first I was just making it only for friends, but after I felt the purpose that I need to share this with others, then I made the social media public and I attended some conferences or university classes to talk about our experience. So I started sharing more publicly. So here are the pictures of us doing it, and it was really nice that my son was very happy and he was really confident, and I was really glad that he never felt sorry for himself. He was always positive and smiling in front of them. And when one of the kids asked him like, "Hey, why are you bald-headed? Why don't you have any hair?" And it was interesting to see this boy saying like such a direct question to my son, and this girl sitting next to him says, "Hey, no, don't do that." But we said, no, it's okay. You can ask any kind of question. There's no wrong question. Just be honest and ask anything. I let my son answer the question, and it was amazing that he explained about his cancer, and cancer cells grow fast, and he is taking chemotherapy that kills fast growing cells, and this hair is made by fast growing cells, so that chemotherapy stops. Because of chemotherapy he cannot have hair. And it was really nice to see the communication happening between other children and him. And they asked, really kids question, like, do you like Pocket Monster, or what kind of Pocket Monsters do you like, or what kind of subject do you like at school? So it was really nice to see other kids that communicating with my son who is fighting cancer and who's with this special needs. Because what I wanted them, the students, to feel was, yeah, someone is on wheelchair, but that doesn't mean that person is scary, or that's the person who always need help. The help can be other way around, and we're just the same as anyone. We have strength, we have weakness, we have something we're good at, we have something bad at, but we can be just friends. And please talk to these people, don't hesitate. So that was the message we had. And we were doing a great job, and we were really happy. And by sharing this story for other people at conferences or adult, I heard back from many people who heard the story that they were empowered, and they wanted to start something, and they wanted to share their stories of their adversity or what they went through in life, so that they can make ripple effects. So that's what they were doing, and today I will stop as a part 1 of From Adversity to Advocacy. I hope by listening to this story today that you will feel that your adversity, your challenge, or something you feel like is your weakness, or something you feel like you want to hide, is not necessarily your weakness. Maybe if you can find a safe place, the right person to share your story, that story itself can inspire people and empower people. So I would like to ask you, what's your adversity? What is your challenge? What is your strength? And what is your story? If you'd like to share with me, please let me know what your story is. Thank you.